This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Yes, it is, and glad to have you along for this conversation as we are getting into another big hour here, opening up like a birthday present, just ripping the bow right off from it. And glad to have you here, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. Who do you want in your foxhole? It's an important decision you're about to make. All right, here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, Michigan State University has settled with the last shooting survivor from that horrible shooting back in December of 2023. We'll have that for you. Number two, a license to kill. We've been talking about this all day. Florida Rec shows why Michigan is right to block licenses for illegals. And while we're on Michigan, let's talk about Gretchen Whitmer, shall we? That's number three. Gretchen Whitmer. In November of 23, Governor Whitmer signed historic clean energy legislation. That's what they called it, historic green energy legislation. Stupid is what it was. Myopic. The state claim made Michigan a national leader in the fight against climate change. The incredible climate change. Stop it. Windmills will never power Michigan or anything else. With all of this AI and mining for bitcoins and like that, we don't have enough power, and there aren't enough windmills on the planet. There aren't enough windmills on the planet to power that sort of thing. State is far from that, at least in terms of how it gets its electricity. 16.2% of the energy in Michigan comes from what they call renewable energy. Of course, it's all renewable because the earth continues to create hydrocarbons. We're not going to use them all. Not now, not ever. Oil, natural gas, hydrocarbons. Energy density. It's a good thing. Look into it. Mostly wind and solar, 16%. The nationwide average is 31%. We're at about half, according to the Energy Information Administration. And I don't think we should be any higher than that. I'm good with that. Leave it at half. In 2020, Whitmer signed an executive order that stated the science is clear and message urgent. The Earth's climate is now changing faster than at any point in the history of modern civilization, and human activities are largely responsible for their blah, 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 blah. Nonsense. Stop it. You know, I've seen the rapid sea change and the rising sea levels have done exactly nothing, which is why Barack Obama bought not one but two estates on the ocean, one in Martha's Vineyard and another one much more complex and much more expensive in Hawaii. Look, it's why insurance companies continue to insure those houses on the coast in many places. It's why these big development companies continue to build on the coast in places like, well, North and South Carolina, for example. They're booming. Where? The coast. Why? Because of rising sea levels? Give me a break. The goal of that executive order, by the way, was for the state to be carbon neutral by 2050. Carbon neutrality is defined as removing as much carbon from the environment as is emitted. The Michigan Healthy Climate Plan 2024 from the state calls for supporting strategies where 60% of the state's electricity comes from renewable sources and phasing out all coal-fired power plants by 2030. That should never happen. Because in 2025, coal is providing 26.4% of our juice. Second largest supplier behind natural gas. Natural gas at 39%, coal at 26%. Yeah. Wait a second. And if renewables are at 16%, let me just do some math here. Okay, that's where's the other 19% come from? Nuclear? Maybe, I guess. Anyhow, it's just another EV folly. Another EV folly. Here's another victim of the EV myth. Rivian, car company. A relative of mine used to work there until they got downsized out because Rivian a year ago was in financial trouble. It's worse today. You've seen these Rivians out there. Cool-looking little vehicle. Electric. One of my neighbors has one. Cool-looking little car. I'd never owned one. But Rivian is going bankrupt. Gee, why is that? Oh, here's why. Listen.
I want to transition to this because Rivian is saying it's facing a $100 million hole after Trump rolled back fuel economy standards. Rivian, I've driven one. It's a good product, but boy, financially, they've got some real question marks.
It's a fantastic car. It's really cool. I haven't driven one. I can't afford one. They're incredibly expensive. But God bless the people who can afford one, right? But poor Rivian, their model was based on government mandates that were going to outlaw the combustion engine, tax incentives that were subsidizing your purchase of an electric vehicle, and then also these exuberant, these crazy standards coming out of the Biden EPA of CAFE standards, of tailpipe emission standards that were punishing their competition. So if your business model is based on the power of government coercion to get rid of your competition, then you don't really have a product, right? What you have is force. And so no offense to Rivian, but now that you have to compete in the free world, in the free market, and you're not as profitable, that's not the fault of the Trump administration. It's the fault of a lousy business model that depended upon government to kick your enemies to the curb.
Yet you built your business model on the sky-high dreams of a bunch of liberal idiots. So they're eventually going to get voted out.
Right.
So good luck. No bailout. Daniel Turner, great to see you.
No.
No bailout. It's not the Trump administration's fault. It's the fact that you had a lousy business model that relied on the whims of politicians. If you didn't extort taxpayer dollars, your company wasn't going to survive. The only way you had a profit was to extort taxpayers. This is what's wrong with communists. This is what's wrong with central planners. The plan changes. And when the plan changes, companies are destroyed. Sometimes industries are destroyed. We've got history books. Pass them around. Everybody can read them today. Here's one more prediction before I leave today and go on to the next thing. Governor Gavin Newsom is going to be your Democratic governor, who's going to be your nominee for 2028 to be president. I'm telling you right now, Gavin Newsom is going to be the nominee for president in 2028. Go to Bite 9 if you would, Anthony. Play that for the good folks.
Well, I think you should start with Shreveport, Louisiana, in Speaker Johnson's district that has 6+ times the per capita murder rate of Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco. What about the carnage, Mr. President, in Shreveport? Why aren't you protecting the folks there? 8 of the top 10 murder states in this country, red states. What bullshit. And everyone knows it. Everybody knows it. Again, it's acts of authoritarianism. It's acts of power on a person that is trying to use his its formal authority, and it's depleting. And it's weak. It's increasingly weak, and it's increasingly desperate. And that's why it's important for us at this moment to meet him head on, not just rhetorically, but through substantive counteractions. And that's what we're doing in California with this ballot initiative.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom, he's going to be your nominee for president in 2028.
Over Pete Buttigieg or Gretchen Whitmer?
Oh, God, yes. Pete Buttigieg is everything that's wrong with anybody running. Pete Buttigieg, I mean, I've heard the interviews. Since he was a little kid, all he ever wanted to do was be president. Not because he has anything to offer, just because he wants to be president. Okay. We'll take a break and be back. Anthony can support Pete. John James coming up. We'll talk about running for governor with him straight ahead.